What is going on, everyone? Nico Lind here at the beautiful Tropic Star Lodge again, and it is day 2 of the tournament, the final day, and it's fixing up to be a good day. I think yesterday we caught one blue marlin, and a blue or a black marlin's worth 300 points, a striped marlin's worth 200, a sailfish is worth 100, and so we have 300 points. I believe the leader has 900 points, so we're a couple fish behind, but we're hoping to cover some ground and be able to close that gap up a little bit today. And so let's go get some breakfast, head down to the boats, and get out offshore and try to catch some fish. And really quick, if you didn't watch the first day of the tournament, I'm going to link it at the top of the screen right now. That'll give some context. I did a couple videos on this whole Tropic Star trip, and so that'll give some context. And then also want to remind you guys to please subscribe to the channel. If you like any of this boating, fishing stuff that I do, liking the video helps as well. And then comment below what you want to see. But let's go get some breakfast. Good morning, thank you. Let's get him. Let's go, brother. Oh, there you go. How we doing? Pretty good. We made it down to the boat, and it is finally go time for our final day of fishing here at Tropic Star. And as I just mentioned, we are behind on the scoreboard by a couple fish, so we're all optimistic about having a good day to hopefully end up near the top of the leaderboard. Let's get after it, boys.
Let's get it.
Our first step is to go out and catch some bait. As I've talked about in the first couple of these Tropic Star videos, live baiting is a huge part of this fishery, and lines are not allowed in the water until 7:30, and it is currently 6:30, so we're all gonna head out to the reef and load up on live bait, so come 7:30, we're ready to hopefully catch a big one. The mates here at the lodge continue to impress me day after day. On the way out to the bait grounds, our mate was tying up the bimini twists on all of the rods, and I don't think I've ever seen somebody tie such perfect bimini twists so fast. To the bait grounds. Let's pick up some bait. ¿Cómo se dice bait en español? Bait. Carnar. Carnar? There we go. Ooh, the old 2-for-1 special. As you could probably tell, bait fishing was a little bit hard this morning. There just wasn't that much bait around, and so instead of wasting more time trying to catch some bait now, we're gonna go head out to the marlin grounds, and if we need more bait, we'll catch more out there. All right, we got bait. So now we're headed out to a long line about 40 miles offshore. Hopefully that's what some big ones are. This is something that I definitely have never had to deal with before while fishing, and that is long lines. In this area, the Gulf of Panama, long line fishing like this is quite prevalent, And as far as I believe, it's actually illegal, but the actual enforcement of the people doing it is slim to none, and so it continues. And while it's also absolutely horrible for the environment, it's also a major hindrance to navigation of all these boats fishing in this area. And so on the way out to the area where we were going to fish, we just came across this long line. And obviously, if we were to just run through it, we'd tangle up our propellers and it'd be a horrible day. And so the boat that was next to us actually took a knife and cut the long line so that boats can pass through it. So you can see here, we're picking up and we're running to the area where he cut so that we can get through it safely without tangling up our props.
Peligroso.
Yeah, long liner.
Oh, ahí.
Aquí abajo, acá que está abajo. Allá, a ver. ¿Está cortado allá?
Ahí.
¿Así?
Yeah.
Ah, lo cortaron.
Sheesh.
Los pelos como el mucho.
That was quite different to experience, but we made it through the long line and we're back on track and heading out to the fishing grounds.
All right, vamos. Máximo. Sí.
We made it to the area where we're going to start out the day fishing, and instead of going straight to live bait, we're actually going to start out with lures, pulling some plastics in order to cover a little bit of ground to hopefully find the fish a little bit easier. When you're trolling live bait, you can only pull them, 2 to 3, maybe 4 knots because you don't want to stress that bait and kill it. But when you're pulling lures, you can pull those lures, 8, 9 knots. So you can cover a whole lot more ground with lures. And when you're trying to find the hot area where the fish and the bait are, that can be amazing. Instead of having to put around at 3 knots, you can now go 3 times the speed at 9 knots and hopefully find those fish a lot easier. So that's how we're gonna start out the day here. We got our lure spread in the water, and we also have 2 pitch baits ready in case we get any fish that come up to the transom. But now the waiting game of fishing begins, and hopefully we find a big one.
Come on, come on, come on.
It's been a pretty slow day so far, and sadly, the beautiful water that we had on the run out here is slowly turning as the weather turns for the worse. It's getting cloudy, it's getting a little bit windy, the rain is starting to come down, but we're staying optimistic and hoping that we find the fish today.
Dolphin, dolphin, dolphin. 6.2, Cody, 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 Cody.
A big school of dolphin just came up and crashed our entire spread, so both Cody and I are hooked up.
Hit. What? How big are they? Grande or no? No? Tag, 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 tag. Hey, Cody, got that tag, play there. There you go. He's gonna start flopping, so. Sheesh.
We got the tag in the first fish and released it, and so now the captain is heading off in the direction of my fish to get into the boat a little bit quicker so we can hopefully move on and get to the billfish.
¿Dónde no? We got some shoulders. He's big. Want us to kill him? Yeah. See. Yeah. I got you. I'll get him close. Woo, there we go. Woo! It's a good ball. Get it up. Oh, you gotta get some billfish though.
We got both dolphin to the boat. The first one we tagged and released, which y'all saw, but the second one was a little bit too big to justify putting a tag into. So we decided to put him in the box, take him back, and hopefully eat him a little bit later on. But we're not here for dolphin, we're here for billfish. So let's get these baits back in the water and hopefully find us a big one. It's been a little bit of time, but we just had a sailfish come up on the right side teaser, so Cody's dropping a bait back to him right now in hopes that we can get him hooked up. Sadly, we just couldn't get the fish to stick, and so we're gonna get the baits back out and hope for another shot. We got our spread back out for some bait and switch fishing, so now the waiting game begins again. We gave the bait and switch fishing a good run for the last little bit, but we're just not finding any luck, and so we're picking up and we're moving on to the next spot. As you can see, the rain is starting to absolutely pour down, so this is fixing to be a really cold and long day. Let's hope we find some fish that make it all worth it. We made it out to the new fishing spot, and as you can see, the rain is not letting up whatsoever, but we're changing up our fishing tactics and we're gonna troll around some live bait in hopes that this changes up our luck. Just like earlier in the day, we came across another long line that's hindering our path, and so we're slowly inching up towards the long line, and the mate has a knife that he's gonna cut it with so that we can get through. As we got closer to the long line, we noticed that there was a dolphin on the long line that was flailing around on the surface, and so we decided to go snag ourselves another dolphin for the boat. Not quite sure if this counts as a catch for us, but we're gonna take every fish we can get today.
Yeah.
It's not a bad sized dolphin to add to the boat. In Florida, this would be a great fish to catch. Down here, not so much because the dolphin are just so much larger down here than we get over in Florida. But by Florida standards, this is a really nice fish, and so we're happy with it. That was a fun and interesting little side quest, but it's time to get our baits back in the water and try to catch the targeted fish of the day, billfish. It's been a long day so far, but we're remaining optimistic for the rest of the day and also really hoping that this rain lets up because let me tell you, this is a cold rain. I guess we are fishing in the rainforest, so we shouldn't expect much different, but it doesn't change the fact that fishing in the sun with no rain is a lot more enjoyable. The mate is gonna go ahead and fillet up the two dolphin that we have in the boat so far, and so before he does that, I want a quick picture with the bigger fish that I caught earlier in the day. While the mate is making quick work of the two dolphin that we have on board, Cody and I are waiting optimistically for the fish that's gonna turn the entire day around. And sadly, it does not look like that fish is gonna come on live bait, so we're switching it up yet again, putting the plastics back out, and we're gonna go back to some bait and switch fishing to cover a little bit more ground in hopes of finding the fish. After dragging the plastics around for the last hour with absolutely no luck whatsoever, we're deciding to change it up yet again and run to a new spot because it's the last day of fishing and we need to put some points on the board if we want any hopes of salvaging this day. Before we get on with fishing, we are going to restock on live bait because we are going to live bait for the rest of the day. However, we are out, so let's go catch some bonita quickly.
Yep. Yep.
We are loaded back up with bait, and instead of running out to a new fishing spot, we're going to go ahead and put the live baits right back out on the reef where we caught them. For those of y'all who don't know, black marlin tend to feed in on the reef a lot shallower than blue marlin do. Blue marlin tend to stay further out in deeper water, and so far in this tournament, quite a few black marlin have been caught. So we're gonna try our hand at finding one of the black marlins in hopes of salvaging this day because this is our last ditch effort. Time is getting limited. Right after we got the baits in the water and before I could even have a chance to hit record on the camera, we got a knockdown and I tried to feed the fish, but with me being pretty new to this whole live bait circle hook fishing, I completely missed, so I have no one else to blame but myself, but that's how fishing goes. I have to learn how to do this type of fishing somehow. With no time to waste as the day is coming to an end, we quickly got our lines back out in hopes of finding one last fish in our last 30 minutes of fishing here. Sadly, this day is just not shaping up how we were hoping it would, but that's alright. Any day on the water is still a great day, and especially one on the water down here in Panama, but let's hope we can get lucky here in the next 30 minutes. Sadly, our hopes and our prayers were not answered in the last 30 minutes, but that's alright. It's still been an awesome day out on the water, but we're gonna get everything in the boat and then run back to the lodge, grab a drink, and then get cleaned up and get ready for the dinner and the award ceremony tonight, which of course, I'm gonna be taking you guys with me to. We made it back to the dock and got all tied up, and we didn't have the fishing day that we wished we had, but we still had an absolutely amazing day out on the water and a trip as a whole, being that this is our last day of fishing here at the lodge. But before we get up and get cleaned up, here's one last look of just how cool this dock looks with all of the little 31 Bertrams sterned into the dock. Just such a cool environment.
All right, so as you can see, we made it back and the fishing was slow today. There's no getting around that. You know, we ended the day only with 3 dolphin, one of which we took off of a long line, so not the day we had hoped for. We're definitely not winning the tournament, but we still had a great time. Still got to experience this amazing place, so it's all absolutely worth it. We did miss 2 sails, which kind of sucked, but that's the name of fishing, you know. Sometimes you can't catch every fish, especially when you're, you know, doing the bait and switch, and then one of them hit a lure and just didn't stick, and so that's the name of the game. But that's it for the tournament. We're not done with the video though, because I am going to show you guys the captain's meeting, the end of tournament party, the awards, and all that stuff. So right now, let's go down to the bar, see what everyone else caught, have a drink. I'll show you guys what it's like, and then we're going to hit the end of tournament meeting. And that's how they get everything here to the lodge. It's a big, basically, landing craft barge that at high tide, they drive up on the beach, they let the tide go out, they drop the front, and they just unload pallets. And so it's somewhere over there, but they have a front loader that's bringing stuff over there and running laps. Pretty cool. And it's what you have to do, you know, when you're here in the middle of the jungle with no other infrastructure around you. That's the only way to get stuff here or out, really. We just got all showered and cleaned up and decided to head down to the Marlin bar to enjoy one last evening drink here before we have to leave tomorrow. One thing I just will never get over is the views from this lodge. They are absolutely amazing. Just look at the mountains and the beach and the water. This is a place I will absolutely be coming back sometime in the near future. We made it down to the pool bar where they're doing the last dinner and the award ceremony, and I'm not going to bore you guys obviously by making you watch the award ceremony, since the people watching this, you guys definitely do not know most of the people here. But one thing I do want to mention, which was really cool, is they actually took a minute during this award ceremony to acknowledge everyone here at the tournament who caught their first of any species of billfish. And so me, having caught my first blue marlin on this trip, got to go up there and they gave me a little you know, certificate that I caught my first 400-pound blue marlin at Tropic Star Lodge. So that was extremely cool. Here's a little video of that happening and also a little video of the certificate itself. And of course, like always, we got fed an absolutely amazing dinner. But that's gonna do it for this video. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment what you wanna see, and I'll see you in the next one.